Montgomery County, Maryland. I'm 30 years old and I'll be 31 in December, so I gotta do something cute and fun. But anywho, right now I'm in a phase of my life where I'm looking for inner peace. I dealt with a lot where I always try to get accepted by people. Like being the only child, you feel alone a lot. And my mom was my best friend. She taught me to love myself, definitely. So I love myself, but sometimes I question myself like anybody else. I would say that I am my own worst critic sometimes. I try to stay positive for everybody though. So you wouldn't know anything's wrong with me until you ask, are you okay? And I'll cry probably, or yeah. Cause I'm dating someone now and he literally asked me the other day, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. He was like, no, you're not. I can see it on your face. I was trying to hold it together. I just cried. I threw my phone. So I try to keep cool all the time, even when I'm about to break. But I love making people feel good. That's my thing. A lot of times I run to social media because I have no one to talk to, and then my friends feel offended by that because I feel like they have a lot going on themselves, so I don't like bothering people with my problems. So like I said, I care about others too much where I don't make sure I'm okay. So I went to school for natural health consulting last year after having a health scare. I found out I had fibroids on my uterus, and I just didn't understand. I'm like, where did it come from? What's going on? What's going on with my body? So a lot of times I'm cranky and don't know why. I'm emotional and don't know why. So I had an ex that didn't understand it, and he's gone. Clearly he's an ex. It was life-changing because I almost lost my life. I bled for 12 hours straight. I kept passing out, kept blacking out, and my room looked like a horror movie, but don't want to get deep into that. I also got hit by a car in 2017 in August, and that was life-changing too. So it was just like, God is like, I can win through anything. So I went to school for natural health, and it taught me a lot about how your mind connects with your heart. If you're not okay mentally, you won't feel good emotionally, everything. So I was like, I gotta eliminate anything or anybody in my life that disturbs my peace. I don't care who you are. And at one point, I had to tell my mom exactly how I felt too, because I feel like she's a critic of mine. Like, I know she does it because she loves me. Sometimes I feel like, you know, she's very too overpowering. My mom's a tough person. She's a Taurus. Like, she's a bull. So she might say it too harsh instead of like saying it how I would like her to say it, but I guess that's all parents. But some people don't have that tough love or love that loved one to tell them, you know, I love you, but you're being stupid, or, you know, but sometimes I just want to be hugged and say, it's okay. And that's why I said with the only child thing, I don't have any brothers or sisters or anybody to talk to as far as advice on relationships, life, stuff like that. So I felt like I battle a lot on my own, and having a single mother, we've been everywhere together, so we're a packed deal. So when she got married, I was pissed. I ain't gonna lie. Because I was like, that's my best friend. You took my best friend away, but I don't mind sharing her now. He's a nice guy. He a little crazy like her, so I guess they match or whatever. I really battled with really getting to know myself growing up. And now that I know myself more, I just know that I was built to be a person to help people. So that's where the natural health came in. I wanted to learn how to take care of people's body naturally, and I'm still having a hard time doing that because even certain foods we eat, no good. I like steaks. I love me a steak. I could eat a steak right now. Since my accident, I had a fractured skull, so anything can trigger me to have a seizure basically, and I try not to put myself in situations where my anxiety is bad. So for a couple months I couldn't even just go out without feeling like nervous, and someone drove the car one night and they didn't believe that I was scared. I just started bursting out crying because he was speeding, and I was like, please stop. And then he looked over and he was like, oh, you're serious? I got hit by the car, yeah, but it's still traumatic for me, like that, like a car in general. Like I'm even scared to drive now, and I shouldn't be scared. I don't want to be that person that hit somebody. It's like they said I was passed out for 3 days, and I don't remember. They're like, you remember having a seizure? I'm like, no. And I used to have seizures when I was little, so I always thought I was a little weird or something was wrong with me. Like, God, what is wrong with me? Because I passed out in school once, and all the kids called me weird, and that affected me. So, always the quiet one, always reserved, but now I'm just the talkative one. I like talking to people. I like making people feel good. I like just meeting new people, because you never know with who you meet. They might lead you to, you know, something that bring you peace, or it might bring you bigger opportunities in life. It was after my accident in 2017. It was like, after that, my anxiety was huge, but before that, I was just like the life of the party. After high school, I was like, okay, let me go out, let me do me, yeah. And I like to talk to people, and I'm a drinker, but I can't even drink like I want to anymore. One night I blacked out after the club. Well, I was at the club and I was with my friend, and we're having a good time, and it was this guy outside, and I went to go talk to him, and then I ended up leaving with the guy, but I don't remember. So I didn't know the accident was that bad where I can completely black out, like, and not remember anything. I woke up the next morning. Thank God that guy wasn't a creep, or, you know, just thank God he wasn't a bad guy. And I woke up, I was in his bed, but I didn't know where I was, and that was scary. And he wasn't there. So I checked myself first. I'm like, that's, as a woman, you're like, oh my God, wait. And I didn't feel like something happened to me, but I was like, you could never be too sure. So I went downstairs, I crept downstairs, I'm like, okay. And then I saw him, and I was like, hi. And he was like, hey, you okay? I'm like, yeah, who are you? And he was like, he was just very calm. I was like, where's my jacket? Where's my purse? I didn't know where anything was. My purse was gone. I had a cute jacket. I like thrift shopping. I'm a thrifter. I don't believe in, like, you know, I don't care. I can wear anything to feel good. So I could have something on from the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, and you're gonna look at it like, they bring everything back. It's like, style's versatile. So I was mad. That jacket was cute. So he gave me his jacket, actually drove me home, and I was all the way in Virginia, and I lived in Bowie. So that was fun. And I checked my phone. Yeah, the friend I went out with, he was so disappointed in me, because guess what, he was my ex. But he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. We were just like, he's one of those exes I could just go out with, but he already knew how I was, so I would only go out with certain people for my protection. And I still do that now. Like, I'm very picky about who I go out with, not just because of that. You should do that anyway. You should be aware of your surroundings, because nowadays people could smile in your face and really be setting you up. Well, my childhood, it was a roller coaster, but it was exciting too. My mom is a very fun person. Like, she's my best friend, literally. My childhood turned into a thing where we would move a lot. So I never stayed at a school longer than a year. Kind of hated it. But then I grew adjusted to, like, well, I'm gonna just see y'all for this year, bye. But I think it affected me later on down the road, because it gave me issues when I was in my early 20s, where I was just like, how do I connect with people? Because I could be friends with people, like I could meet people everywhere, but I didn't know how to connect, and especially with relationships. I never had like a real relationship until I was probably 23. So yeah, it was different, because every time I meet somebody, like going to school, they'd be like, where are you from? Oh, you talk country. Oh, you Alabama. Or like, the first time I went to a DC school is crazy, because this guy said something inappropriate, and he was like, you want some smeat? And I was like, what the heck is smeat? And I'm from Maryland, and I'm going to school. I went to Hines Junior High School, and one of the girls walked up behind me. She said, don't answer that question. And I heard what SMEAT was, and if you could put it together, you could figure out what it is. So I was always the new girl, basically, and it was an adjustment for me. And even as a child, I stayed to myself. I had an IEP from what grade? I would say second grade, first. It was probably first or second grade. I had an IEP, so it took me a while to put things together, understand things. But when it was something creative, something I love to do, I could draw, I could design, I could make things into something different, and that was exciting to me. So my mom gave me a diary. She gave me things that I can connect with, so I can express myself. Since I didn't talk much, I was quiet. My stepdad, he would tell you, he called me. Did he call me mute? I think he called me mute. He known me since I was 6 years old. So, and now they're married. So I was very quiet. I was to myself, and my cousins used to call me weird. So I would only connect to one cousin. He got killed years ago. I didn't go to his funeral, and a lot of my cousins were mad at me because I was so close to him. So it hurt his sister in general. She was like, well, that was my brother, and I had to go to the funeral. Why didn't you go? And I was just like, because he was the first cousin that he said I was weird, but he knew I was like still a person. He treated me with respect, and he was protecting me. So if anybody else messing with me, oh, he'll fight you, he'll curse you out. But far as all my other cousins, they didn't really connect with me, and till this day I still feel like the oddball. I don't get invited everywhere. I'm fine with it, but I'm kind of like disconnected and hurt about it, because I wish I could go to more family things, and that's why I want more of a family, because it was just me and my mom. So that was my connection. That was my best friend, and she would take me out of school and take me to Georgetown and try different foods. Like, I would leave school early, and the kids in my neighborhood, I lived in Southeast at one point, they thought I was rich. And I'm like, how am I rich? I live in the hood like y'all. Y'all crazy. But it was a challenge because I didn't connect with people, but my mom was my ride or die. At 6 years old, I encountered a lot of like I don't know. I think people could read when you're innocent. It will test you and try you and stuff. So even at 6 years old, 7 years old, like boys, or even I would say my cousin, my family, I had an encounter. And my mom, good thing my mom, the type of woman she is, she told me, never be afraid to tell me anything, because I'm gonna believe you. She was like, never be afraid. Mommy got your back. And I tell my son the same thing. I always say, who got your back? He's like, you do. And I always remind him. I remind him of that all the time. Like, it's a consistent thing. So he knows to say, you do. No matter what. So basically my mom wanted to break the cycle of sexual assault, because it always starts within your family. And she explained that to me. She was like, it starts within your family, and she told me to tell my son that too. And my cousin, he watched me all the time, but he used to do stuff with other children in front of me. He didn't target me first. And I didn't think of anything of it. I just like, okay, this is my babysitter, and I had to do what he says. And he would do stuff to them. He'll tell them to go in the room, but he wouldn't let me watch. I just knew something. He was doing something. But when I got older, my cousins told me what was going on, and that's probably why they feel some type of way towards me, because they probably was like, oh, he didn't do it to you. Like, what made you different? But one day he finally tried it, and he put soap in his private area, and he told me to put my mouth on it. And I didn't like the taste. I'm a little girl, like, it's soap in my mouth. And like, I was 6 years old, and then he tried some more on the couch, and I was like, I went with it, but I didn't go too far. He didn't go too far with me, I guess, as he did my other cousins. And then when my mom got home from work, I said, we played it. He told me it was a game. That's what he told me. He said, we're going to play a game. And I was like, okay, like you're gonna think it's a game. So I told my mom what happened. She said, what was the game? I said, I'm gonna show you. So I demonstrated it to her, and I could see it on her face. She was hurt. And I guess she told my aunt when she got home, and it got wild, it got crazy. I don't remember everything because like I had to like basically leave that room, but they both beat on him, and my mom had to stop him. Stop her, my aunt. But that's what takes me to my son's situation. He got sexually assaulted by someone who was very near close to us. I walked in on it, and it hurt me because this little boy, I used to change this little boy's butt and do everything for that little boy. Like I watched the little boy grow up. So when I walked in on it, I'm using the bathroom and mind my business, and then I knew it was too quiet. My son's not that quiet. Like he's always making some type of noise. And I walked in and my son's bent over basically. And the first thing I said was, "What are you doing?" My son think I'm talking to him. My baby was 4 on 5. So I'm like, what's going on? Like, why? Because what do you do right then and there? And my first reaction is like, what are you doing? I snatched him up and I pulled him in the room. I locked the door and I asked him, I said, are you okay? What happened? And he was like, Mommy, don't be mad at me. I said, I'm not mad at you. He saw that you were innocent. My son's the same way as me. That's what's scary. He's very innocent. He's very quiet to people. But when he's comfortable around certain people, he's very talkative, and he's a nice kid. He's even nice in school, and kids try to bully him a lot now. And I know that feeling because I've been bullied before and don't know why. You could be the most quiet person in the world and they want to like trigger you, push you. Now I want him to get to that point one day where he get pushed so much he might actually hurt somebody, and that's why I told his dad. But I called it was my godmother's son. That's why I heard. My godmother been there since my son was born, before my son was born. When I was 16, 17, she protected me through a lot when it came to my mom's rules, and my mom's very strict. She don't play no games about education, about me. When the street lights came on, I had to be in the house. I don't care what nobody else do. I was always abiding by her rules. So my godmother helped her be more lenient and, let me be more free. But my mom wrote me a letter even when I was 18 and said, I want to lock you in a cage forever and never set you free. I still have that letter to this day because, she just, from reading it, I just know she just wanted to protect me. But you can't protect me. But I'm glad you made me aware of things that I should take notice of, never be blinded. Like, don't try to repaint a picture. And that's my problem now. I try to still see the good in people even though they hurt me. It's been a couple people that hurt me, but it don't break you. Don't let it break you. But my son, that hit me different. Who would do that to my baby? And you would think it would never be yours, but it could be anybody. And I think God wanted me to see it, for me to catch it in the act. And I told my godmother, I was this close to my godmother. I tell her everything. And I'm texting her, I'm like, you need to come home. And then she's like, I'm getting my nails done. And she finally comes home. I tell her what happened, and she looked shocked. She was confused, but then she didn't do anything. And she protected me from so much stuff. I was hurt because my godmother was my second mother, and I'm like, why won't you? What do you want to do about it? And she just told her son to wash dishes. And that pissed me off. Wash dishes. So, you ain't gonna whoop his ass? Because my constant thought in my head was I wanted to whoop him. So I said, well, if you're not gonna do something, I'm gonna put my hands on him. That's what I said. Because honestly, I did want to put my hands on him, but I had to make sure my son was okay. And I had to explain that to my mom and other people that I was close to, because they was like, why didn't you do anything? And I was like, my son was more startled at thinking I was mad at him. He's a baby. So sometimes you gotta put your emotions to the side and, you know, be strong enough to make sure everything is lined up and okay. So I called the police. I went to the police station. They checked him and everything. And then when they interviewed him, the people who came out and they showed me a stuffed animal. They said he ripped the head off the stuffed animal. So I think my son has a temperament now. Like, he had an issue even like taking baths and stuff. After a while, he wouldn't let me touch or wipe or, you know. Well, he'll say to, like, if you playing around him, don't touch my butt. And I just knew it triggered him. And I was telling his dad, like, you as a male have to be there more, because I'm not a male. I don't know how he feels. And, you know, even some men go through, like, you know, sexual trauma. I was actually getting close to someone months ago. I know him since I was 18. He was the first guy to make me like feel amazing, feel not be okay. It's okay to feel emotions, because a lot of people don't ask. Even who I date now, you gotta ask: is that, as a man, is he okay? Because men go through issues too. They just don't. They gotta, you know, handle it a certain way. Like, I'm a man, I'm good. Like, but really, it could be a whole bunch of stuff going on. And you wouldn't even know until you ask. But sometimes they don't want to talk about it. But at least if you ask, are you okay? Or if you need anything, can I feed you? Like, I like cooking. I like making people food. Like, the way my soul's my stomach too. Far as any advice I would give, I would say you're definitely not the only one. I appreciate social media because it can show people's vulnerability for real, based on what you read and how they word it. Be honest with your children. Be their teacher. Be their friend to an extent. Be their psychologist. Be whatever you can be. Because you, like, I'd rather give my child advice than for him to go on the street and get it from somebody that know the bare minimum or barely care about them. Just
I won't be camera.
You want to be on camera?
Hello.
What's your name? How old are you?
9.
How old are you? What's your name?
Dino Schools. 9.
Ooh. What do you think about your mommy?
Good.
She's a good mommy?
Yeah.
Great. Do you think she's strong?
Yep.
Is you nervous? How you gonna ask to get on camera and you nervous?
I like being on camera.
You know you don't.